Well, Tristan, thank you so much for helping with my project. We were just talking, and you were asking about why I was interviewing people, so I thought maybe I should answer that before we got started.
Yeah.
Um, so basically, back in December of 2019, when I
Hmm.
started this project, I was working from home and had been for 2 years. And that's kind of funny to say at this point, considering how many people have been working from home for
Yeah.
the past year. But I was like, I'm only seeing the people in my house, and I wanted a project that would push me to get out and talk to people in person. Uh,
Um,
so my plan was to go interview people at coffee shops, on the street, in the mall, which I did up until the COVID lockdown started, and then suddenly it became unpopular to go. Well, it was always unpopular to go up to random people, but even less popular. So that was the main reason.
that is pretty interesting though. Like, I think it's interesting to I think it's interesting to be a little experimental like that. I think there's something like a little bit experimental about that, and like you want to hear about people um like on streets and stuff and people you pass by. I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I had I mean, a lot of people are like, why are you doing this? Do you work for NASA? Are you in the space industry? And I don't work for NASA. I'm not in the space industry. So,
Oh,
but but the other day I was like running and I saw this guy. He was walking, and I asked him, "Hey, can I interview you for my project?" And he's like, "Oh, that's so cool." And he's like, "Can I take a picture with you so I could show my friends?" I was like, "Whoa, that's never happened before." So, yeah.
let's see. It must be, cool, experiencing something like that.
Of course, you get a lot of rejections too.
Oh,
People that are like, no, I don't want to be on video. No, I'm not interested. You know, so
yeah.
that's to be expected. But um, could you say a little bit about yourself?
Um, I don't know what to say. Um, I guess I could say why I got interested in the mission. I got interested. I think I got interested because I started because this was a time I this was the year I started getting like more interested in space and like the moon and stuff. And I guess I've been seeing a little more I guess philosophical side of space. And I that's one reason why. I mean, there are a lot of space movies I've seen that I saw the previous year, like a couple months, that got me interested. Like I saw um um 2001 A Space Odyssey, which is my favorite film now. Have you ever seen that film?
Yes, several times. Good
Yeah.
morning, Dave.
It's a really good film in my opinion. Um, I feel like they don't really make films like that anymore. Um, but before I saw that, like around 2.5 months earlier, before I saw that, I saw Interstellar. I don't know if you've seen that. Have you
I
seen?
I've not seen Interstellar. That's the one where they're on a trip to another star system and he wakes up unexpectedly
Yeah,
in the middle.
um
Or is that a different one?
I think that's a different one.
Is Interstellar the one with Matthew McConaughey and
Yeah.
okay, I have seen that one. And, oh, and like there's this whole blight on Earth, and they discover like a wormhole near I guess Jupiter.
Yeah. Yeah, that one.
Hmm. Yeah, I've seen that one.
It's nothing. People are saying like it's similar to 2001 A Space Odyssey, but I've seen both of them. I don't think they're anything alike.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Um, I mean, in 2001 Space Odyssey, Jupiter becomes a sun. Everybody really pretty much comes back to Earth to live. And Interstellar, they're like escaping to a whole different star system.
Yeah. I I think it's the other way around. It's like I think in Interstellar they make it back to Earth, but in 2001 A Space Odyssey they go to different dimensions and that's how it ends.
Hmm. I don't remember the end that much. I remember them trying to get back to Earth and like by different dimensions. Wow, I need to watch the end again. I remember
Yeah.
the beginning where the monkey's throwing the bone in the air and then it becomes a spaceship.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, yeah, I really like that part. You really need to watch the ending again because the ending is like there's like a really long, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, like a really long sequence of just a bunch of um aesthetically pleasing shots. And like that was one thing that I think that was there were a lot of things about the film that changed cinema, but like that was just um like I had never seen anything like that sequence.
Yeah, that is
Uh,
that I will have to check that out for sure. Um, talking about the moon though, have you seen For All Mankind, the
I don't think
Apple TV series?
I don't think so.
The premise of it is we didn't win the space race, and the Russians got um, people on the moon before we did.
Oh, so is it like like what are the genres of the show? Is it like um I think I'm getting an idea of what the um genres of the show are. Is it supposed to be like a documentary?
It's like, well, it is a drama, but it's like historical fiction, and
Oh yeah.
you, and if you didn't know what really happened, you would be watching it very confused, come away with a completely different idea. Like it's like the historical footage and the way they create the new footage and make it look historical.
Mhm.
It's it seems real.
That sounds really interesting. What's it called again?
For All Mankind, and it's on Apple TV. It's Apple TV exclusive, but every year I signed up for a free trial so I can watch it. That's like the only Apple TV show I watch.
I'll have to check that out. I do like being confused though, and when it comes to watching stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Um, but so the Dear Moon project, that's the moon mission you're talking about, right?
Hmm.
How did you find out about it?
I just heard about it while I just heard it on the radio one morning while I was being taken to school.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
The person that's funding that mission, was it Yakuza Mirzaki, I think
Some
this is.
something like that.
He's training to go on a Soyuz to the International Space Station right now.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, he has a video log he's been keeping, and I just saw a release like this weekend with him doing the centrifuge training. But he's planning to go to space earlier, to get prepared for it, and it's kind of neat.
That sounds really, yeah, that's really cool how he's doing that. Like the for the last couple of months I've been coming up like I've just gotten like really interested in space. Like um because I want to make films in the future, and like I want to make a film like 2001: A Space Odyssey that's like well, that's like ahead of its time and stuff, and I'm trying to come up with like theories about, well, I'm trying to come up with predictions about like what the world will be like in the next like um 30 years or so, I guess around that time. But I'm wondering even further what the future is going to be like. Um, like, do you have any predictions of what the future will be like?
I have a lot of hopes and dreams,
Me too.
and I have some thoughts on which ones are more practical and likely and which ones are less. So one thing is, I feel like the 2020s are going to be the space exploration, what the 1990s were the internet and to computing. That in 2030 we will look back and we'll just assume it's natural for large numbers of people to go into space, to orbit, to travel on starships between various points in Earth, and regular, people living on the moon continuously. I think that's what the 2020s is going to look like.
I really hope that's what it's going to be like, because that sounds really interesting. Like, because I don't think I've been chosen for the mission to the moon, but I really hope me and the others that didn't get chosen will be able to have another opportunity to do so in the future.
Yeah, SpaceX is saying that they feel like they could do point-to-point travel on Earth and be profitable for the equivalent first class ticket. So, I mean, I live in Houston,
Me
so I always
too.
use that as you're in Houston also?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Which part of town are you in?
Cyprus.
Oh, I'm in Klein, or Tomball, Klein area.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
I live over here in Glenlock Farms. Also, I started a North Houston Space Society like 3 years ago. We have monthly meetings with like guest speakers. For the past year, we've been virtual, but that might be something you're interested in.
Yeah, I think I am interested in that.
Yeah, I'll send you the link and everything. But we usually meet at the Barbara Bush Library the first Saturday of the month. Um, so that's kind of cool. Wow, that's interesting. So anyway, back to my example. So a first class ticket from Houston to New Zealand, I think it'd be like $10,000 or $15,000.
Hmm.
So, and it currently takes, I think, like 16 hours or some unbelievable number to go from here to New Zealand. But you will be able to get on a starship, travel that in 30 minutes, and it costs you about the same amount. And for like the middle like 10 minutes, you'll actually be in space. You can see the blackness of space, the curvature of Earth, and you also get a few moments of free fall. And you'll be in New Zealand. I mean, how much awesome could that be?
Yeah, that would be really awesome.
Yeah. In fact, at the evening, you could go to New Zealand, spend the day in New Zealand, and then at the end of your day in New Zealand, come back, and then you'll be back before anybody woke up.
Like, yeah, because I don't like living here.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What don't you like about here?
I don't know. It's just I'm not uh it's just not a lot of I feel like there aren't a ton of people here. I just want to go to a place that's bigger and has more people.
Well, you might consider going to like visiting Mexico City or Tokyo or Mumbai. You'll
Yeah.
definitely get lots of people. in those places.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Um, I haven't been to Mexico City, but I've been to the other two. That's
I haven't been a lot of places, but I've I have been to Mexico a lot. Um my it, my grandmother, she goes a lot of places. Yeah, she used to live in New Zealand.
oh really? Uh,
Yeah.
so have you been to New Zealand?
No, but I kind of want to go.
Yeah, I've talked to some people that have been to New Zealand, and they say that every geological like area on Earth is
Mm.
like represented in New Zealand in some way. Like
Whoa.
you have like the volcano pieces, and you the desert and the forest and um eh, all of that. And you know, there were only two private companies that could put things into orbit. One was like SpaceX, and the other
Really?
one was Rocket Labs. And well, private companies. I don't know if that would be ULA is a private company. They put stuff in orbit, but they're like a defense contractor. But Rocket Labs is a New Zealand company, so it's kind of
Huh.
amazing to think that this little small island is
Yeah.
really doing amazing things.
Yeah, yeah.
Every time I talk to people in like Pakistan or Egypt or Peru, and they're like, we need to go to the US or to Europe or to China or to Russia to do like space stuff. I'm like, look at New Zealand if they can do it. Oh, why can't
Yeah.
you? I don't know how New Zealand feels about that comparison. They might be like, we're special. They are special, but anyway. So what do you plan to do in terms of schooling? So you're thinking about going to filmmaking school and something like that?
Well, I plan to, yeah. I'm actually moving to a different school this year, but still close by because I've been to a Christian school most of my life, and I just got I was like, I've been there for like 8 years too, and I just really didn't want to be there anymore. So it's been a really long time since I've last been to a public school. And yeah, I really hope I'll be able to, I really hope I'll get into film school because um, I wanted to get into film school and like move somewhere else. Um, like I'm really into like what are some films that you've heard about that are like recent?
Recent films. Well, let's see. Not space related, but I watched like The Rookie and Blue Bloods. Those are both like police dramas. Um, oh, there was this one film. I mean, it's a series. Um, I was on Netflix, and it's about this girl that went around and took like identities and tricked these people, and then these people that got um, tricked went to go try to hunt her down, and it's like a whole drama thing. Trying to think of what that was called. It's like the Imposters. The
Uh,
Imposters was a amazing series. It just I don't know, it just kept me like really engaged. I had to like binge watch the whole thing.
yeah, that does sound interesting.
Yeah. How about you? What's some recent shows you've seen?
I don't really watch shows that much. I'm trying to think if there are any though. Um, I can't think of any. Like I only watch movies like that are well, I actually used to watch I used to watch American Horror Story. That's one show I used to watch a lot. I don't watch it anymore, but I don't know if you've heard of that. Um, I that's all I can think of.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, are you in the process of making some films right now?
I was as soon as I get like a good camera, yeah. And it's like every time I come up with an idea for a film, it's like I just want to wait until um it's like every time I get an idea for a film, I just want to turn it into a full length film. Like because there are a lot of short films that are made and like I kind of want to do that. But I just want to think of like ideas that would be better as short films. Like, sorry, what are you
I don't
gonna?
know. Go ahead. Yeah.
Um, like I want to like films were not the only thing I wanted to do. Like I'm gonna try and make music this year. That's what I've been doing these last couple of days, trying to make some music. Um, which I'm still working on my first song.
Is it like instrumental or like what kind of music?
Well, I did come up with like a couple songs that were instrumental, but I wanted to make I wanted to make like electronic music with some words, with words.
Oh, so like taking the spoken voice and modulating it type of thing?
I not exactly. I mean, I might consider that, but like kind of like I don't know if you've heard of like synthwave.
I haven't.
Um that's an example of that's what they call it sometimes, but I kind of wanted to do something a little different. It's kind of like instrumental electronic music, like the music for the background is like electronic, like I don't know how else to I'm trying to figure out a way to describe it. My parents have no idea that I was gonna do this interview. Like they may come up here. Uh, I really hope I'm sure they won't be mad, but they might just be like, who are you talking to? Um, but I'm not really sure how else to describe it. I, I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen Blade Runner.
I have, yeah. It's kind of
Yeah.
that scene where like the eyes get poked in always
Oh,
like
yeah.
bothers me.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen Blade Runner 2049.
I've not. No, only the very first Blade Runner with Harrison Ford and uh, Michael. I know, no. What is it? Snipes. I think. And maybe I maybe I don't remember who was in Blade Runner. Blade Runner. Um, yeah, 1982.
Yeah.
Um, the yeah, Harrison Ford and um, yeah, lots of famous people in that movie.
Yeah, I guess so. Um, Um, like they're gonna play Blade Runner in theater soon. I'm definitely gonna see that. I It's not the first time I've seen it in a theater, but it's a really cool experience. You should see you need to see Blade Runner 2049 like in a theater because I'm also gonna see that. Like that's a really cool experience.
Have to write that down.
I don't know if you've ever seen Full Metal Jacket before,
I think I have.
but that's another film I'm gonna see this week for the first time that I've never seen before.
Hmm. So, thinking about the Dear Moon project, where they're sending a group of artists around the moon in 2023, you know, artists he's using as, really broad concept, filmmakers, script writers, actors, all of this. What, I mean, if you could imagine yourself actually taking that trip, what kind of effect do you think it would have on you? And then what stories would you want to tell, do you think, after you got back?
I think I would feel something like, well, since I saw 2001: A Space Odyssey, I feel like there's nothing to be afraid of about space. So I feel like it could be a very like I think it could be like a calming experience almost. That's how I imagine it being. I think it's just you're just like once you like I feel like it's gonna have like um a potentially dreamlike quality to it. But like and as soon as I go on and as soon as like I reach space and go on the moon, I'm just gonna be like, I just won't want to leave. Like I'll want to stay longer than how long I'll actually stay for. And I feel like um I haven't really thought about what it is I would say to other people, I guess, because there are other people who have also really wanted to go to space. And I think I would just tell them that there's I guess I have no idea because I feel like it could end up being scarier a little bit than how scary I think it will be because I would tell people like it's a really calming experience and there's nothing to be afraid of about being in space.
Except the takeoff, the flying, and the landing. Other than
Yeah,
that, it's okay.
yeah, I guess so.
Uh, yeah. I mean, if we're sending 8 people and there's 8 billion people on Earth, how can those 8 people take the 8 billion rest of us along with them and make it feel like we all went?
Um, like the first thing that comes up in my mind is like a space hotel or like a space station or like like because I thought that was what it was in 2001: A Space Odyssey. I thought it was like a space airport, but then I realized it was just a space station. But like a place in space that people can stay in that's big and maybe there's more than one that goes off. Maybe a space airport that can take us to where we want. Um, Maybe to possibly another planet if that would be possible. Like I think that would be cool and a good way to take everyone else with us if they wanted to come.
I actually have them go.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Well, NASA has the Artemis project, which is the reason why I'm interviewing people till the end of 2024 is because they're planning to put people on the surface of the moon in 2024 for the first time
Yeah,
since 1972. I
yeah.
was wondering if you knew about that project as well.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so they're building like this huge space launch system rocket with their Orion capsule that will be able to carry 4 astronauts to around the moon. And they're
Mhm.
planning to have the first test launch of it in October. It's going to be uncrewed, so it won't have anybody on it. But it'll send the capsule around the moon and come back. And then in like 2023, they're going to be sending 4 astronauts around the moon. One of which is going to be a Canadian astronaut, so the first
Oh,
Canadian to go around the moon.
oh,
And they're actually sending the Canadian. Have you heard of the expression to give an arm and a leg? Like whenever you had to give something to get something big. Um, that anyway, but they plan to build this orbital lunar outpost, and Canada is going to be building the arm for it. So somebody joked that they had to give an arm to get their astronaut to go around the moon. But and then in 2024 they're supposed to be landing on the surface. So
yeah,
that's kind of the plan.
yeah, that's gonna be cool.
And this was actually the plan put together by the previous administration. And usually, whenever you have like these changes in administration, the space policy gets shifted around a lot. You know, we're going to go to the moon. No, we're going to go to Mars. No, we're going to go to asteroid. We're going to keep the shuttle. We're going to get rid of the shuttle. We're going to build this rocket, do that rocket. We're going to do more commercial stuff, more governmental centered stuff. But space policy seems to be one thing that's remained constant between the previous administration, this administration, and the current NASA administrator is planning to try to keep the 2024 the goal. So it's kind of amazing.
Yeah,
Uh, but what do you think about us going back to the moon?
I think um I think we I think it's gonna be interesting because I heard about an alien base on the moon, the possibilities of an alien base on the moon. So I didn't know if it would be I don't know if we could find out any mysteries of the alien base or if it's been covered up. Like, what are your have you heard of that? Like how people think there's like an alien base on the moon?
Um, I've heard a wide range of things that are shocking, surprising, interesting. You know, stuff from aliens on the moon to Nazis on the moon to uh, you know lots of things like that. I mean, we've had the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter circling the moon and taking pictures of the surface for the past decade. Um, and we've even been able to photograph the Apollo 11 and Apollo 12 and Apollo 14, 15, 16, 17 landing sites and can actually see, you know, where the astronauts walked around and the equipment that was left behind. Um, and so you know, kind of my thought is uh, if there was something that's visible from the surface or from space, we should have found it by now. Um, so if it's that well hidden, it may be a long time before we can actually uncover anything. Um,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it could be, I mean, there could be an alien base in the middle of like lava tubes deep underground, and they're able to come out. You know, they know what we can see and can't see, or they can screen themselves. In which case, I mean, first of all, if you're able to make it to the solar system from another system, your
Mhm.
technology is so beyond anything that we have.
Yeah.
Um, you know, it's. I mean, it's like people. 500 years ago trying to understand the telephone or the internet
Yeah.
would be unimaginable to them.
Yeah. That's true.
But not everybody's excited about us going back to the moon. Some people are like, it costs a lot of money. We have all these problems on Earth. Whatever problems you want to focus on, hunger, social justice, global climate change, war and peace, all these types of things. Why are we spending all these resources to send people to the moon instead of using those same resources to kind of address these issues? And that's kind of curious in how you think about that.
Ugh, social justice. Like, what do they mean by social justice? What do they mean?
Well, I mean, it's a broad set of issues. One of it could be like the Black Lives Matter
Mm.
issue, or another one could be like immigration. The other one could be like uh, kind of like uh, women's rights and dealing with gender inequality. So that's like the wide range of issues that usually fall under that category.
Yeah, there. I don't know if you because there are a lot of social justice warriors out there. I don't know if you've heard of that term.
I have not.
Oh, like um, let me see. It's like a person who expresses or promotes socially progressive views and like um a person who is a person who fights for civil rights and issues not because they care but because to boost something. Let me take a look at what that says. um to boost their own ego.
Hmm. So I think there's like this concept of what virtue signaling, like whenever you do
Mhm.
things not because you believe in them or because you think they're right, but because you think they will make you look better, that type of thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of that going around that goes well beyond social justice. Like people getting degrees or earning awards instead of developing the talents, to actually be good in whatever their area is. So,
Yeah.
um, so you signed up for the Dura Moon project, so obviously you'll be willing to go to space. Um, Before I started this project, I would have told you I would go to space too. But as I heard about people's fears of travel and claustrophobia and thought about it and all these things, I'm a little less certain. Um, uh, I mean, I guess what's like the scariest thing you've done in terms of uh, like a venture?
um I'm sure there are a lot of scary things I've done because I've considered to be like one of those people who do risky things. Like I've the number one scariest thing I've done um like walking to a place that's really far away without having taking any directions with me. I'm I'm sure I'm sure there will be some people who think that's scary.
Especially the day when we have the comfort of Google Maps in our
Yeah.
pocket. Uh, I mean, but
Uh,
it's kind of interesting. 100 years ago, people took trips of thousands of miles without uh, any type of ability to communicate or anything better than maybe a handwritten map that may have been out of date with nothing more than a a watch and a compass.
yeah. And there Sorry, I always make sure no, I always make sure the person I'm talking with I'm always making sure if the other person that's talking has anything else to say before. Did you have anything else?
No, no.
There are people who still do that. Like there are people who still go places without any maps, and like there are people who travel like by like travel using like the oceans. Um, and I actually wanted to do that. I wanted to go somewhere like I wanted to go somewhere like really far by myself, just walking. But I so I don't know if I could. I don't know if even I could do that. Um, but I don't know.
But have you flown in a plane?
Yeah,
Have you gone skydiving?
no,
How about rock climbing?
I don't think so. No,
Scuba diving?
somewhat, sort of. Mm, I wouldn't. I guess. Yeah, I guess sort of. I I guess I wouldn't really call it like scuba diving, but I have gone pretty deep and far. I have gone a little deep and far into the ocean, and I've considered going like at night, but I've never ended up doing that. Like, have you done any of those things?
I've flown in a plane, and I have actually flown a plane. So I'm learning to fly, like a
Oh,
little Cessna 172. I've had the instructor with me every single time. I don't feel ready to solo.
oh,
And I tell you, it can be a scary experience in one of those small planes flying.
uh,
Um, so it's like so I've not gone scuba diving. I'm afraid of jumping out of an airplane, but I have a friend
it,
that's a skydiving instructor, and so
mm,
at some point I'm sure he's going to convince me to go with them. Uh, but yeah, so that's that's that. I don't like roller coaster rides. I have floated like an astronaut. I've been in one of those parabolic airplanes,
mm.
and I got float for 30 seconds at a time
Oh,
and
that's
experience
cool.
weightlessness.
That's really cool.
That was that.
I've always wanted to feel what that's like.
Yeah, you can show you the little video of I can send you the video of me and my sons on the zero G flight. Uh, that's kind of interesting experience. We actually did the North Houston Space Society did a contest about 3 years ago where we sent a high schooler on one of these zero G flights. The contest was to put together an idea for a space vacation that could conceivably be done in 50 years from now. And they had to put together kind of like an advertisement to promote the space vacation and kind of like a one-page technical document describing how it would work from a technical side. And so we actually sent a high schooler on um, on uh, a flight, and Scott Kelly was going on the same flight with his daughter. So that was really neat. They got to meet Scott Kelly, the astronaut that stayed in space for a year.
Oh yeah, that is really interesting. And the videos you told me about sounds interesting too. I I wonder what that's like just being in space for a year.
Well, there's several aspects of that. One is being weightless for a year. Two is being in space for a year with like blackness and vacuum around you. And
Uh,
then three is being in a can or a collection of cans for a year. Because the space station is really, really small. In
yeah.
fact, that was one of the reasons that I remember a lot of people given for not wanting to go to space was claustrophobia. The idea of having
Oh,
to be in such cramped quarters for so long.
oh God. Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, I don't understand like how space is infinite. Like, I was I was a little convinced. I still am kind of convinced that it does come to an end, but I'm not sure how space works.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a practical side of it too. Um, you mentioned taking like long walking trips. In your lifetime, would it be possible to walk to every place on the globe? And if not, is there any difference between the globe being finite or infinite? Because if you're unable to sort of span the whole set and there's always like a little bit of edge, does it really matter how big that edge is?
I guess not. Uh,
Just just a thought.
I mean, yeah, that is an interesting thought, though. I just need to think about that.
Well, these interviews I usually publish unedited on my website, countdowntothemoon.org.
Hmm.
And pretty much all the people I interview are like 18 or older, are less than 18, and I've talked to their parents. And
Oh,
you mentioned that your parents didn't know you were doing this interview.
I did. Sorry, I just wanted to let you know. They did know I was signing up for the moon mission, though, and they had no problem with that.
Okay,
Uh,
well, I completely respect, as a parent, I completely respect other parents' prerogatives in terms of the treatment of their children and everything to do around their children. So,
yeah.
so I kind of see this as a time capsule. I mean, can you imagine somebody 100 years from now looking at this video, trying to understand what it was like on Earth before we started taking those new steps out into a new world? And can you imagine you watching that video, seeing yourself, and is there any like key thing that you would want to kind of tell yourself 100 years later?
Probably. I'm trying to think of something. Well, I'm trying to give myself hope for the future. You you've accomplished a lot of things. I really hope that's one thing I'll end up saying to myself for the future. And well, that's all I feel like that's all that I really want to say. Like I just really hope I'll have accomplished something that will be remembered. But
Yeah. Well, another way to twist the problem around is,
mhm,
can you think about back 100 years ago
mhm,
to something from that time? So 1921, something
yeah.
from that time that you remember.
I mean, there were some inventions like around that time, I think. And yeah, spaghetti. That was my mom. I I mean, I'm sure there was at least one good film that came out. Let me see.
Yeah, films were quite a different thing in 1921.
Yeah,
Uh, I
they
think they
were
were black and
silent.
white and didn't have sound.
Yeah, that's how a lot of them were. But the first film that actually had to do with space came out in 1902.
Is that the mission to the moon, the like the rocket? Uh,
Yeah. Um, but I feel like I'm sure there are more things that were accomplished around that year, but I can't think of anything else.
yeah, I can't either. I
Maybe
was just looking up films and maybe inventions from 1921. I wonder when the light bulb got invented.
let me see. Well, I mean,
Was that
hopefully.
before or after 1921?
I feel like I remember when I just don't. Um, let me.
The polygraph was invented in 1921.
Yeah, the polygraph. The first light bulb was made in 1879, apparently.
Apparently, modern traffic lights were developed in the 1920s. 1923 is what I see.
Oh,
Water skiing got invented in 1922.
huh.
The bulldozer in 1923.
Wow.
The cheeseburger, 1924.
Wow.
Uh, the radio altimeter, 1924. Oh, penicillin, 1928. That was good.
Yeah.
And liquid fueled rockets, 1926. Oh, and the Band-Aid, 1920.
Huh.
Television, 1927.
Oh, yeah.
Sunglasses, 1929.
Oh.
The garbage disposal, 1927. Um, yeah, lots of, oh, insulin, 1922.
Excellent.
That was kind of interesting. So yeah, 1920s were an interesting decade, I guess. From
Yeah. And I really hope that reflects the 2020s because yeah, like 1920s and 2020s, I really hope this is also a decade where a lot's accomplished.
but the only way things get accomplished is if people do them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I just feel like people are just wanting things to get accomplished, but they just keep on dreaming and never try to.
I kind of look at Elon Musk, I mean, you got like Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, the Boring Company,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. I mean, there's not I mean, there are things I want to accomplish, but I feel like there's not a ton. I feel like there's not a ton I can accomplish because I'm just so young. But I hope to accomplish things soon. Um, and I hope it's not just a dream. I really hope there are things I can actually accomplish.
Like, what would you want to accomplish?
Well, things I want to accomplish. I mean, I think it's good to leave to kind of wait, scratch that. I just want to make a film that's good because I think 2001: A Space Odyssey was like a landmark in sci-fi films and like maybe cinema in general. Like I want to make films that I want to make a film that like changes cinema again. And so I've been more really curious about how the world has changed throughout the years.
Hmm.
And I really hope that's almost, I mean, I really hope there are other things I get accomplished too, like, space travel becoming a normal thing.
I feel pretty certain that's going to happen. I mean, I think by the time you graduate from college, I
Yeah,
believe we'll have people on the moon, and shortly thereafter we'll have people on Mars, and then by 2050 we'll have a million person city on Mars.
that'd be really cool. That's what I've pictured whenever I think of the future of space. I've pictured like a city on the moon, and I've also had an image or a picture. I don't know how Earth is gonna do these next 100 years or so. Like if something goes wrong on Earth, or if something gets worse on Earth, we're just gonna, you know, colonize other planets and live in like some like spacecrafts, and make cities on other planets. Like maybe it wasn't Mars, it was another planet, but they're saying there is a planet that was much better to live on than Mars, but I don't remember what it was. I think it was like Saturn or something.
Yeah, maybe one of the moons of Jupiter or Saturn, like
Yeah,
Titan or Europa or
yeah,
something like that. Um, the thing that's always uh, kind of challenged me about the idea that we could somehow escape Earth was, Mars is very inhospitable. I mean, on a warm day, it's still like freezing, and very low air pressure. You couldn't go outside. And we talk about terraforming, but that seems like it's going to be a long way off. So you're going to be living inside of like a contained environment. And, regardless of how bad the earth gets, it almost seems like it'd be easier to create that same contained environment here on earth and sort of, colonize earth. They don't have to transport the people. You have the materials here. You already have a planet that's, 1G gravity and
yeah,
has the resources we need. So we could create artificial environments here on the earth inside of
yeah,
constructed facilities.
yeah. Like, yeah, that is. I've also imagined that. Like, I think that's going to be interesting to depict too, and think of the imagine like the artificial lands that they'll be able to make. Um, I was gonna say we might be able to. We might have to. We might have like um places in the ocean, but I don't know what could happen to the ocean.
I
Like,
mean, half of the globe is the Pacific,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. I I forgot for some reason. I don't know why I forgot.
But I
Um,
mean, like you could turn like the globe at a specific way, and you could just see outlines of land around it. And it's like I mean, creating like floating artificial islands, you have almost unlimited
yeah,
capability.
yeah, yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see.
Well, I really appreciate your time. Unfortunately, I have to go, but I'll send you the information about the North Houston Space Society,
Oh yeah,
and you know, uh, it's great to connect.
yeah. It was nice connecting. Uh, just a reminder, I didn't know how this was gonna work at first. So just in case something went wrong, I um I signed into like 3 interviews. So I don't know if you were just I don't know if you had any thoughts on that. Like
Yeah,
because
I saw that yesterday, so I was wondering about that.
yeah,
So since we talked today, I'll just go ahead and cancel the other two. Um,
yeah, that's fine.
and because um, but I'm happy to stay in touch and um, you know, uh, I mean, I'm really interested in seeing how your film career
Yeah.
develops. I mean, the key part about becoming good at anything is to actually do it.
Yeah.
So if you want to make films, you should make films.
Yeah. I just need to try and come up with like stories and ideas that um can actually will actually work better like um in short films, and because I don't really around me. Like I would need people. I mean, I am moving to a different, bigger school, so like if I want to make a film, I could, I would have potentially more people that may want to be in it. So yeah, I just um, need to. I just hope those things will work out, and I'll think about all that over time. Um, but yeah, because I am trying to actually accomplish things. Uh, so and I know I will accomplish them eventually.
Absolutely. It's about making steady progress, uh,
Yeah,
a little step every single day.
yeah,
Uh, And one other thing to keep in mind is there's pluses and minuses to every situation. So there's
yeah.
there's going to be things you like about your new school, and there's things you're going to not like about it. And it's just the
I know.
way it goes.
Yeah, like there were um there were some other things, like some minor things I wanted to say, but I guess I don't have to say them. Like you were wondering like some things about me, and I was kind of curious of things about you. But I guess
Well,
that
if you have some questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
I don't really I'm not even I guess I'm just asking like um I guess I guess I'm curious about how what your life is like, and um like how um well, I don't know, because I don't know what is considered creepy to ask. Like,
Oh, well, I could tell you about what my life is like. So my oldest son just graduated from college,
oh,
and I thought, he was kind of like gone, but he came home for spring break last year, and he's been here ever since. So he's been living with me. That's cool.
no,
My younger son's graduating from high school and will be going to college later this year. I live with, so they've both been at my house. And then I live with my wife, and I have my in-laws. They live with me, as well as my niece is staying here, and a friend of my older son's from college, she's also staying here. So we have like 8 people in our house at the moment, and we're short bedrooms and offices. This past weekend, I've turned my garage into a little room.
Whoa, so cool.
And I have a little AC unit kind of like over there. So that was a big upgrade in my life. I got to tell
That
you
is really cool.
that. In terms of work, I work for a software company, and so I spend pretty much all day long on the computer, answering questions, sometimes doing a little coding, sometimes documenting, that type of thing. Um, yeah, so those are pretty much the highlights.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that's interesting.
But yeah. Oh, and I volunteer at Space Center Houston 1 day a month.
Oh,
That's
that's really interesting.
that way they have a lot going on down there, and it's a good way to stay in touch. And
Yeah,
also, they have thousands of visitors a day, all interested in space, or at least going uh, to learn a little bit more about the Apollo program, and about, well, Skylab, and Artemis and the space station. So that's kind of neat.
yeah, that is really interesting.
Oh, good deal. It was a pleasure to meet you, and I hope that you'll come to one of our North Houston Space Society meetings sometime.
I hope to. Um, will I ever see you again?
Oh, well, I'm always at the North Houston Space Society, so
Yeah, I'd love to find out about that because I will look forward to seeing you again.
yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you as well. And it'd be great if you figure out a story and a way to tell it
Yeah,
that really motivates people to go off and create an awesome future.
yeah, I hope so.
Okay, well, you enjoy your lunch, and
So
I'll talk to you later.
I'll talk to you later too.
Bye bye.